Hey folks, this is Stephanie Renee. I know I promised ages, and I do mean ages ago, that I was going to start doing more videos and kind of sharing my thoughts with you all. So I'm beginning on that path, largely because I was inspired by last night's Entrepreneur Works Presents conversation with Rakia Reynolds to make sure that multitasking or having multiple skills and passions and talents is not seen as a liability, whether you're out here looking for full-time employment or whether you are building up your own entrepreneurial aims. And so there are a few things that I took away from her conversation and also an interview on Good Morning America today with Elaine Westeroth, who was the former editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue, that I thought were significant, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to share some thoughts with you on video today. So the first thing that Rakia said last night that I thought was incredibly insightful is that the definition of entrepreneur that she abides by is one who holds the financial stake in a business. And I think that's very different from the way that we conceptualize the role of an entrepreneur or the importance of an entrepreneur, excuse me, in our regular society. And it's made me think really long and hard about what it is that I'm trying to do to grow Soul Sanctuary. A lot of people, when they are forming their new businesses, they're forming them as LLCs, right? Limited liability company, which means that when you die, or when the partners see that they are ready to move in different directions, the entity dissolves and everybody goes on their own way. I incorporated Soul Sanctuary because it was incredibly important to me that the concept of what we're trying to do as an arts education foundation lived beyond me. And hopefully that there would be someone or several someones, even though I don't have children of my own, who would want to carry the mission forward after I was gone. And so what I've been asking folks to do in terms of investing in the vision with our crowdfunding campaign and also just getting more invested and involved in what we do is not just because it looks good on paper, but that for the longevity of the organization, there need to be people who see enough value in what we do to support it long term, and to invest in it so that it can continue long term beyond me having the primary financial stake in it. And so, so Rakia's words, excuse me, really sort of hit home with me in that regard. The second thing that she said that was mind blowing for me is that when she thinks about her own success, or when people ask her about her own success as an entrepreneur, one thing she is very clear about in Sky Blue Media's 10th anniversary year that they're celebrating right now is that she didn't enter into creating the business with an exit strategy. So, in terms of measuring success, she's not quite sure what will be the point where she says, I have personally invested enough time, energy, resources in this business where I want to see it continue and it can continue beyond me. And so, that is also something that I'm giving serious consideration to as far as Soul Sanctuary is concerned, because I want the mission to continue. And I don't think I planned either of my companies, Creators Child Productions, which is where I do most of my teaching and consulting work and what have you, and Soul Sanctuary is the Arts Education Foundation. So that's where the creative projects really are given a chance to move beyond just Philadelphia or move just beyond my teaching of them into a different kind of realm where they have long lasting impact. But what the exit strategy is from that. And I know that living this creative life and doing what I do, most creatives don't have an exit strategy. We don't have a retirement plan. We do it until we can't breathe. And that has its own significant meaning, but how you run an organization within that context is something that I think we all, because many of us are trying to build charitable organizations and trying to do things that will have lasting impact on the communities that raised us or the communities that we have fallen in love with in our travels and what have you. But what is that point where you say, I can step back and allow this thing to progress without me being at the helm? And many of our legacy organizations also have never planned an exit strategy for when the elders get too infirm or are just tired and should have somebody ready to be the next step in leadership. We don't have that, and we've got to be much more conscious about doing that. And then the third thing from Elaine Westerroth's conversation about her new book and her time as editor-in-chief at Teen Vogue and everything that she's done as a young Black woman. Many of you may have seen her as a judge on Project Runway. She's only 32 years old and has accomplished a lot. But at the same time, she questions herself and she thinks about what kind of impact she has had long term to change the industry so that the next group of young Black female journalists coming behind her don't have to jump over the exact same hurdles that she's had to jump over in order to achieve her success, or what people conceive of as her success. And so some of what she includes anecdotally in this book is really about the understanding that the way we are often judged as we climb the ladder and as we try to exercise our brilliance in some of these capacities will wear you out, because other people's measurements of your success and how you got there and whether or not you deserved it is based on a scale that we never created, that we never necessarily even signed up for, but it is the path that was laid out in front of us. And now that we have had more people of color achieve success, there is an underlying current of, are we perpetuating the same kind of ladder, the same kind of standards that the white folks who have held these, positions since time immemorial have created? Are we making people jump over those same kinds of hurdles? Or have, is there a perception, which it seems to be definitely in her case, that now your Blackness is a bit of a carte blanche for this new wave of media professionals and the networking that goes on, the kind of have each other's back that goes on for some of the Black folks in the industry who are trying to take care of one another and do deals and really build up our sphere of influence in this industry, is being regarded as some kind of Black nepotism. Wow. Wow. It just underscores the idea of damned if you do or damned if you don't. Ultimately, we've got to stop with the negative naysaying in our own ears. We have got to be open to the idea that we are creating a network of accomplished, visionary folks that are here to make sure that when the entire world looks at our works, looks at the way that we are being portrayed in magazines and on television and on the big screen, that there is a diversity, that there is a beautiful coming together of experiences and backgrounds, and that we have got to continue to push forward the narrative of how wonderfully diverse we are and how capable we are ultimately. And that doesn't mean that every movie has to be some kind of savior movie where we are overcoming incredible odds to be where we are. It just means be smart, be beautiful, be successful, do the damn thing, and tell stories about it. Make sure that folks see us and hear us, feel us in our experiences. Everything will not be a when they see us. God bless Ava DuVernay for having the courage to tell the story of the Central Park Five and their ordeal and what it did to them and their families, because we need that. But we also just need beautiful images of us loving one another, being successful in business, being who we were born to be. And more folks committed to, if you are not the creative person who's going to tell that story, then invest in the people who are, because we need you. We need those financial resources, and we need that trust and belief that we can bring these stories to the fore and it will have a positive impact on the world. So for all of you within the view of my face, sound of my voice, Soul Sanctuary has a crowdfunding campaign on GoFundMe. You are welcome to check out the links that I've posted to my Facebook page, but you can also go to soul-sanctuary.net and click on the crowdfunding tab so that you can learn more about that and so that you can contribute. For those of you who are not necessarily into the mission of Soul Sanctuary but want to support me, I have a Patreon page. So you can go to patreon.com/StephRenée, and you can find out more information about some of the projects that I'm working on personally and things that I want to bring to the forefront. And you can invest a small amount monthly just to underscore the idea that you would like to see me birth those projects and that you want to have some inside scoop when all of those things come to be. And I would really, really appreciate that support as well. But we got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We can be so wasteful with the little bit of resources that we actually are given. I want you to make a recommitment today to think about the wise words of Rakia Reynolds and Elaine Westeroth and invest in the things that you find important and invest in the things that you want to see continue for many more years to come. And that's my Stephanie's words for today. Thank you for listening.